Let us first consider what we are trying to achieve when making soft jaws for our 3-jaw chuck. Then, how we are going to achieve this. It may come as a surprise that the requirements are not as critical as one would expect. Only the width of the jaws making them a close sliding fit, and the pitch of the teeth to match the scroll being important. Looking at the jaws, we find the teeth have a different curvature on either side, making them thinner at the edges than in the centre. Also, the peak is off-centre in the jaw. As the curvature of the scroll increases towards the chuck centre, it should be obvious that the jaws cannot follow this precisely as they move in and out. Actually, the scroll only contacts the teeth at the peak. Have a look at the sketches that follow. This first sketch attempts to show why the peak of the scroll is offset to the right compared to the true centre. See how the scroll gradually moves away from the true circle. Let's now consider the scroll being rotated to open the chuck. OA shows a condition where the inner face is too curved and the opening force is being applied just to the left-hand corner. This obviously is not ideal. With a flatter face, as we see in OB, the scroll will be opening the jaw using its peak point. This is how it should be. When closing, we find a similar situation, but in this case, the curve of the outer face is insufficient at CA and needs to be more curved as CB shows. OC and CC just showing the situations in more detail. Whilst the curvatures are not critical, they must be when opening, using the inner face of the jaw's teeth, flatter than the minimum curvature of the scroll, that is, at the scroll's maximum diameter. When machining, I would suggest about 5 mm greater than the scroll's maximum diameter. When closing, then the outer face of the jaw's teeth must be more curved than the maximum curvature of the scroll, that is, at the scroll's minimum diameter. In this case, machine this side of the jaw's teeth at about 5 mm less than the scroll's minimum diameter. Next, we see the setup for machining the jaws. The short metal fence, left, is placed so that when the main part with the jaw are added, the curve will be made with the jaw's peak in the correct position. Its main purpose is to allow subsequent adjustments to be made without disturbing this dimension. The position of the peak is of course not critical and would suggest plus or minus 1 mm will be more than okay, but the fence ensures that it is consistent. Having positioned the main item, the jaw is stepped down using the plugs to machine the teeth at the correct spacing. When the first jaw is completed, the process is repeated for the second jaw using the smaller plug, then again with the smallest plug for the third jaw. Because the curvatures are different on the two sides, then 2 passes of the end mill are necessary. The adjustment, bottom left of the main part, is used to set the position for the second side. My comments here have been brief, so see my website for the process described in much more detail. I have included the following 4 slides to show some parts being made and the eventual jaws being used.